What information do you need before you start your loan modification? Hello, my homeowners. This is Joshua Sternberg coming at you from sunny Southern California. I am the principal attorney at Sternberg Law Group. We work on loss mitigation, foreclosure assistance, keeping people in their homes. That's something that Sternberg Law Group takes very serious and that we focus on in our firm. All of the information that you need to know in this video relates to your existing loan. How could you ever modify a loan without understanding what your existing loan is, okay? So I've got a bunch of different things on a piece of paper. It's too much for me to memorize, so I apologize. Bear with me. I'm gonna go through it. My suggestion here is anybody watching this video should know the answers to all of these questions as it pertains to their mortgage. Even if you're not behind on your mortgage, even if you're not looking for loss mitigation or loan modification assistance, even if you're not in foreclosure, these are things that everybody watching this video or everybody who has a mortgage in this country should know. If you don't know this stuff, find it out. If you don't understand it, seek professional assistance, because these are basic understandings you should have as it relates to your mortgage. First thing, what is the unpaid principal balance? UPB. UPB is the unpaid principal balance you owe on your mortgage, but it does not include lates, which are called arrears, or penalties, escrow, shortages, or late fees. Okay, so unpaid principal balance. Second, does the unpaid principal balance include a deferred balance or deferred interest? Now, what does that mean? You may get a mortgage statement that says you owe $400,000, but you may have an additional $100,000 that is deferred, meaning interest is not being applied to this balance. So your full payoff amount will be the $400,000 plus the $100,000 that's deferred, which equals $500,000 in total. Okay, so you want to know, in addition to your unpaid principal balance, you want to know whether or not you have a deferred balance. Third, what are the amount of arrears on this loan? Simply said, how much am I behind? To bring my loan current, what is that dollar amount? What is the last date I made a payment on this loan? This is important to understand because it gives you an idea of how many payments you're behind. There's oftentimes a lot of confusion. People get statements and they can't figure out why they owe that much money. So it's a good indicator to know when the bank said that you made your last payment. Okay, there can be things like suspense accounts where you're actually sending the bank money and they're holding on to that money but not applying it to your payments. So part of the reason we ask that question is to research whether or not there's being funds that are being held to the side and not applied to the loan for any number of reasons. You want to know what is my interest rate currently on the loan. You want to know whether or not the interest rate is fixed or adjustable. Fixed means it stays the same for the life of the loan. Adjustable means it's going to change at some predetermined date. If it is adjustable, there's at least 2 or 3 things you need to know. Let's say there's at least 3 things you need to know. You need to know, when does it adjust? Does it adjust once every 6 months, once every year? When it adjusts, what does it adjust based on? Almost all adjustable loans are based on something called an index plus a margin. Index is the rate. Okay, is the rate that's printed in newspapers, online, the Wall Street Journal. It's the rate that's predetermined by the actual market. And then margin is something that the banks add to your index. So if right now prime rate is 7.5%, which it is, which is crazy, but right now prime rate is 7.5%. If your margin is 2.5%, that means when your loan adjusts, it's going to be a 10% interest rate. You want to know, what is the maturity date of your loan? How many years left do you have until your loan matures? Does the loan have a balloon payment? So upon maturity, sometimes there's still a balance on a loan. So let's say it's a 30-year loan. At the end of your 360th payment, at the end of the 30 years, you may still have a balance, and that balance has to be paid in one lump sum. That is called, or that is referred to as a balloon payment. Has this loan ever been modified before? Okay, so this is more for modification people. But if you're looking into doing a modification on your loan, you should know whether you've had a previous modification and when that modification was, because that will have an effect on your ongoing modification request. If the loan has been modified before, we want to know the details of that modification. That speaks for itself. When was the last time you requested a modification? Have you had a recent denial? That's an important question. Was the request denied or still pending? If it was denied, we want to know what was the reason for the denial. What documents do you need to submit a new loan modification? Most banks have their own packet, which they can mail to you, or you can grab it online. And then that packet needs to be completed. And then you need to attach additional documents to that packet. Supporting documents is what they're called. What is the best way to submit a loan modification? So once you have your packet together, do you mail it to them, fax it to them, or email it to them? Find out if your lender has a property value. So you ask, do you guys have a sitting property value? Meaning they have an idea or they have a determination of how much they think your property is worth. And then find out if the property is in foreclosure. Here in California, we have what's called a notice of default. Find out if a notice of default has been recorded, and if a notice of default has been recorded, what comes after that, in California, 90 days after, is a notice of trustee sale. So you can ask, has a notice of default been recorded? If the answer is no, you don't have to worry about the notice of sale. If the answer is yes, then you do have to check if there's a notice of trustee sale. The notice of trustee sale is synonymous with foreclosure. That's the same thing as your foreclosure sale date. So those are very important questions depending on how far into default you are. Get the name of the person assigned to your loan and their contact information. Okay, that's called a SPOC, S-P-O-C, single point of contact. Get the name and contact information for your SPOC. And in certain circumstances, if it's necessary, you can ask for, if you don't have it, you can ask to order a copy of a note and a copy of your deed of trust so that you have your loan paperwork. Those are at least 20 questions that we covered. That's information that you should have. That's information that you should understand. That's information that you should save. And if there's anything going on that you don't understand, you can reach out to Sternberg Law Group, ask them some questions in the comments below, or find us online and just give us a ring, okay? My name is Joshua Sternberg from Sternberg Law Group. I hope this is helpful to all of my homeowners out there. Thank you so much.